Right, very good afternoon to you all. I hope we're all fine. It's Sunday, it's the 17th of December 2023, and we're here to take a look at the weather for the lead up to Christmas. As I've mentioned before, if I'm doing these videos, it means that I'm still sniffing the potential for snow. Now, yesterday, the odds of it had certainly increased. There was a risk looking like it was coming further down the country. So yeah, we're back today just to have a look to see, has that signal increased? Has it decreased? Is it backing away? What are we going to get? So, well, let's start where we have done. As I mentioned, this is all about consistency. And thank you very much for all the feedback. It's been some really good feedback on this. I think you're starting to understand just how difficult it is to, predict the weather, particularly in that sort of like 5 to 8 day period. The changes are, immense, and yet any sort of changes in the forecast at day three can have huge impacts further down the line, as we're seeing. So anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get this started. So high pressure, well on the scene. It's been well modelled for a while now. Winds are westerly. It's turning milder. And if we just take a look at those anomalies at the moment, we've got mild air now. It's pumping across the UK, particularly across Scotland. 8 degrees above normal for many parts of Scotland today. Very, very mild. But of note, this very mild air has crept into large parts of Scandinavia, and this can be seen this is near Stockholm at a place called Skarholmens, and I'm going to use this. This was yesterday. This was just a typical cam with plenty of snow still on the ground, but today, look at that. The snow is melting. The milder air from the west that's been over us for, well, weeks has now pushed over towards Scandinavia, and now they're getting their thaw. So yeah, a bit of a temporary reprieve from winter up there for those guys, and as seen with the jet stream, so it's firing away across the Atlantic at the moment, coming in from a southwesterly direction, keeping all those low pressures to the north, and pushing that mild air at last into parts of Scandinavia. Now the change is still on the way, but before I do that, I'm pleased to say it is dry. There is just some rain today, a lot of rain across many western parts of Ireland, up towards the southwestern parts of Scotland, across those western highlands. So, yeah, plenty of rain falling up there. Right, we're going to just now take a look at how things are going to start changing. So, the red marks high pressure and the green marks sort of lower pressure. And this is the situation today, but push this through to tomorrow. You'll see that those reds, the high pressure, start to ebb away, and then by Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, that high pressure has pushed back out into the Atlantic, and we're opening up the door to a more westerly or northwesterly direction. And this is where the changes are going to be coming in, is from that northwesterly direction, heralding the start of the cold spell in the lead up to Christmas. But is it still going to be cold? Is it going to be cold enough for snow, and how far south will it get? Well, let's just take a quick look at this. So what I'm now going to do, I'm just going to come back to the H850 HPA temperatures. If you remember, this is the marker that we're kind of using as the body of the air mass to sort of assess if that air mass is cold enough to support snow. Now, it's not an exact science, but generally anything below -5, -6 in that -7 category is indicative that, yeah, it could be cold enough to support wintry precipitation falling from the sky. Obviously, you need to get the moisture in, but you need to be in this area first before you can even start thinking about it. So this is the scene today. I think we all know it's fairly mild aloft. These temperatures are 11 degrees at 850 HPA. So yes, very, very mild up there, up in the sky at the moment. And then as we just move this through, well, the change has been long modelled. If you remember, there's always been a change modelled for around about the late 18th into the 19th, and that has really been modelled for a few days, and there is good consistency for that now. That then pushes down on the 19th. We do have a cooler day. If you remember earlier on in these forecasts, it was looking like this was going to be the start of the cold spell, and it was going to go all the way through, but that's now been punctuated by milder air on the 20th and on the 21st, and I think that's pretty well modelled still. So a couple of milder days after a cooler day on Tuesday. The day of change was always Friday the 22nd, and if we just run a look at the chart this morning for Friday the 22nd, well, I think it's fair to say it's fairly consistent with where we were yesterday. The cold air is still knocking on the door of northern Scotland on Friday. It's milder further south, so yeah, I think it's fair to say that consistency for the cold spell, at least reaching the north of Scotland on Friday, is still on track. Let's push it through to Saturday, the 23rd. Well, there you go. You've got your 850s up there in Scotland, around about -7, -8. So that area is generally cold enough to support wintry precipitation, but comes south across the country. This feels like, again, it's been a little bit delayed. Those upper air temperatures are still above zero. They need to be around about -6, -7. So, yeah, it's still a fair way to go on Saturday the 23rd. But you can see the cold air is still being shown as marching southwards. Let's move this forward to Christmas Eve. Right, there we go. It's a bit slow, but it does look like the 850 HPA temperatures are colder. They've managed to get down to the south coast, that's for sure. But for some reason, it doesn't really want to play ball with the wind direction. So there we can see the cold air has arrived down in the south. But notice there is high pressure just knocking on the door. There we go. Right now, Christmas Day, it's still cold. Milder air is pushing back in from the southwest. I think we saw that certainly 2 or 3 days ago. It was dropped yesterday in favour of a very cold day across the UK on Christmas Day. But today's model run does seem to want to go back to that scenario of bringing in less cold, or should I say milder air from the southwest on Christmas Day. So yeah, I think it's fair to say cold spell is still due to arrive. It's been slightly delayed. And I think its longevity is somewhat shorter. Just a little bit concerned about this area of high pressure. If you want snow, I rather suspect that's going to snuff out a lot of potential for the UK, but we will take a look at that. We'll go on to the WX charts now, and we will see how the 6 o'clock GFS run this morning wants to play it out. So, well, there we go. Today, it's Sunday. As we've seen, there's rain across the western parts of Scotland and the north of Ireland at the moment. Move this forward to tomorrow. So mainly dry day tomorrow across many parts of England. Well, a few showers across Scotland, more organised rain coming into southern Ireland and the southwest of England and Wales late in the day. Now on Tuesday, it's looking like a very wet day for many parts of England and Wales, certainly across Wales, central England, across towards East Anglia and parts of northern England. Perhaps the south spared the heaviest of the rain on Tuesday, but yeah, it does look like it does push through, doesn't it, later on in the day. So a fairly wet day on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're in a run of west-northwesterly breezes. They're the days that we see those temperatures creep up a little bit. So a bit milder on Wednesday. Plenty of rain again across Scotland. Looks like there's a bit of a weak front pushing down across parts of northern England, fragmenting as it does so. And then on Thursday, much the same again. Rather breezy. Look at those isobars. More quite heavy rain across Scotland. Very, very sort of slowly marching itself southwards in that northwesterly flow. Right, let's move forward to Friday. This is the day of change. This has always been well signalled now for a few days. And yeah, there we go. Friday the 22nd, showers packing into Scotland. Certainly heavy, certainly wintry, sleet and snow over those hills and mountains. Further south at that stage, lots of blues indicating that they're rain showers. Push that forward through to midday. Friday's looking like a weather front, a cold weather front that will be pushing southwards across the UK. That was shown yesterday, so we've got a bit of consistency with a cold front pushing southwards late on the day on the 22nd, moving into the 23rd. And then on the 23rd, that cold front marches south, introducing the colder air, and that's the core of the colder air coming into Scotland again from around about sort of the 23rd. So it has been a little bit delayed across the south, and to be quite honest, I'm quite dubious at the moment looking at these charts if that colder air will actually reach the south of England, certainly even sort of northern England at this rate, because this is the situation on Christmas Eve. Heavy wintry showers across the west of Scotland, across parts of the Lake District and Cumbria and parts of Northern Ireland. Southwest Scotland looks like there's a more organised band of wintry precipitation on Christmas Eve, but that seems to dry out. And there you go. If you look down towards the southwest, there is an area of high pressure just nosing in on this run, and that is snuffing out any potential of A, the cold air getting down to the south, but B, it's also snuffing out any wintry precipitation in its wake anyway. Move forward to Christmas Day, and this is not looking like the wintry picture it was yesterday, is it? High pressure sitting over the country, so probably a dry and cold day across the UK with some rain across the southwest for a while, and then perhaps later on in the day on Christmas Day, rain and milder temperatures will be pushing across the UK, across the south, turning things milder. So, right, it's been a bit of a decrease, but we will take a look at the old ensembles to check for consistency and clusters to see where that run sat in the actual bigger picture. If we go to London, it's looking well compared to where we were yesterday. If you just cast your eye along that -5 line, that's where you want to see your clusters running along nicely, tightly packed for good consistency. To me, that looks like the models are really struggling with what it's trying to produce. We've got good agreement now, all the way up to around about the 21st. A dip in temperature. Temperatures come up on that 21st and 22nd, but then really after the 23rd. There's plenty of options still on the table. So, yeah, I think today's forecast is a bit of a bust for the wintry weather to get down towards the south. That's the south, that's London. Let's move towards Manchester. Any confidence on the colder air in Manchester? Yeah, at face value, I suppose there is. I think there's a fair few lines below or getting close to that -5, certainly sort of in the run up just before and just after Christmas, but it's not very good consistency. There's no real cluster in there. So once again, very low confidence after the 22nd on this morning's runs. So yeah, more runs needed, as we say in the trade. And then if we just move up towards Inverness and look at their ensembles, yeah, that's looking more consistent up there. More of a cluster up across Scotland from the 22nd through to the 25th. Notice how it's quite tightly packed. The lines are below -5. So I think when we just put these snow spikes on in a moment, we'll probably see that Inverness is still favoured. So we'll bring this to a close. We'll take a look at the snow depths and we'll go to London. And well, if you're looking for snow in London, based on this morning's 6 o'clock run for the GFS, whew, yeah, it's the signal is falling out, isn't it? It's much reduced, one or two spikes here and there, but considering there are 32 perturbations here, you're only looking at one or two at any one period. So yeah, very, very low risk based on this morning's run. Right, move northwards to Manchester. I think the signal has been dropped somewhat from Manchester. Manchester was looking like a potential real hotspot for wintry precipitation yesterday, but today, with the inconsistency from the upper air temperatures, coupled with that area of high pressure looking like it's nudging in, that seems to be appearing to snuff out a lot of the snow potential, certainly on Christmas Day itself. A few spikes after Christmas, but they can't be taken too literally at the moment because we don't even know what's happening in that 23rd to 24th period at the moment. So yeah, I think it's the signal has been dropped somewhat from Manchester, and now we're heading north of the border to Inverness to see how you guys are looking up there. Well, yeah, it's still there, but I think if you've been following this forecast, I think we would all agree that even up there in Scotland, the signal for snow has been reduced somewhat. Still plenty of spikes there, suggesting the potential is there, but yeah, I think it has reduced. So I think I'm going to be coming back again tomorrow. This isn't a done deal. We're still 8 days away from the big day itself, so still plenty of changes to go, plenty of water to go under the bridge before then. But yeah, I think these models, they can pick things up, they can drop them as quick, and I think you probably appreciate just how hard it is trying to forecast this sort of weather pattern at this time of year. Well, as it is at any time of year. So anyway, I've rabbited on probably for far too long again. I'm going to get back to my Sunday afternoon and let you guys and girls get back to yours as well. But thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the feedback. And yeah, just continue to like, share, and subscribe, and it will go a long, long way. Have a lovely afternoon, and ciao for now.